Hello, everyone. This is Jason with OTPG on the Play Games, and today we're going to be talking about never underestimating the power of the dark side as we talk about Myrtle Beach Games Planetary Qualifier and their next leveling the meta. As you can see, the finals had two dark side leaders. So just as we thought that we had a heroic green problem, we have a flip over to the dark side of the force. And that is what we're going to talk about a little bit today as we look at the top 8 and top 16. We're going to highlight some of the players from the OTPG team. The Indigo Squadron is the name we came up for our team. And we are going to feature a couple of our players that did really well and faced a lot of the top 8 players. So let's take a look at something that you can't find even on the SWU Competitive Hub yet. And that is the information from the excuse me, sorry about that. I believe I lost that for a second. We're going to talk about the Myrtle Beach Games Planetary Qualifier. It started at 10 o'clock. It was very fast-paced. We just ran hard right through it. They had 49 people show up, which if you think about the attendance lately for Planetary Qualifiers, this is a slightly above average turnout for the Myrtle Beach area, which I'm really proud of what they were able to pull off there. And as you can see, we have Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader pilot, which I thought was pushed completely out of the meta, basically. But Vader made up 25% of the top 8, which is pretty cool. This Emperor Palpatine list, let's take a look at that real quick. I'm just going to do the little hovers over. We might click onto it and look a little closer. But this one, using Colossus for the 35-point health base and starting with 5 cards, but recouping those cards using things like Dr. Pershing and Night Sister Warrior to draw cards. Reinforcement Walker, if you notice they have the timely interventions to jump in with those and get the quick life gain or draw cards. Super Laser Technician working really well with Dr. Pershing to get that ramp going. A couple of Darth Vaders to grab some of those units to get some more draw going. And then a couple of Supreme Leader Snokes to deal with the things like Queen Amidala's spy tokens and things like that. Plus a couple of Avengers, a Singleton and Annihilator in the main, and a Devastator. Then on the event side, you get your no glory only results, your Power of the Dark Side, Resupply. One of them, I think it is the most played card right now in the current meta. Super Laser Blast, Timely Intervention, Vigilance, Fell the Dragons as a pair of, 2 restocks, so if they got to go grindy against another control deck, they're able to do that and do the mill plan, and then 2 takedowns. Backing that up with 6 upgrades, the Condemn, awesome card. You just can't knock it. It does a lot of work. And then also 3 Entrenches. Then you got your Eager Escort Fighters, your Hyperspace Disasters to kind of also push a little harder into that space arena defense. A very techie Eye of Eldani. One of the players that we had, that this player faced, one of our players, Jeff, we'll talk about his finish here in just a minute because he did make top 16. He played against this player, and one of the lines of play that he described to me is that he Eldani'd, and then Jeff paid for his units, and then a Super Laser Blast came down, and he wasn't able to follow up with additional board presence afterwards. You got the Traitorous, works great in this list as early as turn 3, can start stealing 3 drops, and then another Annihilator to come in to start ripping units out of the players' lists, out of their decks. And so this was just a super, super awesome deck to watch Colossus do some work for him. Then, second place, Darth Vader Yellow, getting it done. Now, I want to point out that the Eager Escort Fighters were in the main. Great choice when there was a lot of Han out there. And then after that, you have a pretty standard list all the way down to the Geonosis Patrol Fighters. But if you notice, doesn't bother with surprise strikes, doesn't bother with breaking ins for extra damage, but instead relying on outmaneuvers to lock down the ground arena, waylays for tempo alongside of the sanctioner shuttles, and the trade route taxation to prevent things like confiscate and other ways to defeat the upgrade of the Vader leader flip. Great deck. Just awesome. A couple confiscates deal with some things like, I would say, the Chewbacca combo, swoop downs, a very spicy Millennium Falcon. Now let's talk about this for a second. That Millennium Falcon is going to cost 5, right? Think about Cassian Andor. And when it gets smuggled out, it comes out ready. Well, this is almost like Vader's Cassian Andor. And DG Cells, if you get an opportunity, I'd love for you to reach out to me. I want to talk to you a little bit about when you brought that in, and if there was a match that you can think of where that really, surprised the opponent and took those last few points needed to win the game. And then an additional trade routes taxation to further protect that Darth Vader flip turn. So really cool to see Darth Vader making it after, Anakin kind of pushed Darth Vader into a bad spot, but really cool to see Darth Vader getting there. Han Solo, this is going to be the Han Solo Yellow. I believe I'm correct in that. Audacious Smuggler, that is the yellow. Yes, absolutely. And this list here, you got your Resistance Headquarters, so going for a green 30. This deck, it goes with a green 30 to help get closer to or get better hands that will open up with Chewbacca, with one of their space units. You can see they have the Millennium Falcons and the stolen AT haulers, just going with 2 of them for a little touch. And then you basically throw Chewbacca on any of that, and it's going to be trouble for someone. Captain Typho giving a little bit of sentinels on the ground. Enfys Nest, we all know how much a pain Enfys Nest can be, and it can lock out games. Some Queen Amidala's, Qui-Gon Jinns, and then the R2-D2s for a little bit of that kind of card filtering, basically, getting to look at the top deck and move around a little bit. The DL-44 blasters definitely making a spot. I love the U-Wing reinforcements. Waylay resupply again showing up. We got the Confiscate, a Singleton Cunning along with that Bamboozle. The Cunning being really strong. If you notice, there's another one in the sideboard along with a one of Confiscate and a one of Bamboozle. So having the ability to kind of tweak these numbers in the main deck as it plays through to whatever additional deck they're playing against. We got the DB1 making it in there, hidden and giving that +1 in Saboteur, getting around those Sentinels. Really great thing there. Spark of Rebellion to kind of check your opponent's hands. I love the Legal Authority, being able to snatch up units and capture them with less power, and it also gives a little bit of extra toughness to it. And if you notice, it can jump across. It's not just in the same arena. It can grab from the ground or grab from the space arenas. So really cool list here, and it did very well with the yellow Han. Next, Father Figure, also with the Audacious Smuggler. This time going Data Vault. You got 20 space units, and it's got the Queen Amidala's, it's got the Obi-Wans, Han Solos, Enfys Nest, Captain Typhos, 3 Techs, 3 Kelleran Becks. Han Solo, that's going to be the Han Solo that is the pilot, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take a quick look at that. Oh, no, it's a 7-drop. My bad. There is the pilot Han Solo, which is just a great card, having 3 of those to be able to throw on any of this plethora of, a third of his deck was space units. Then we got Breaking In Resupply again showing up. The UN Reinforcements doing a great job. I think that is the card that turned the match, and we did get the quarterfinal match between Ryan and the next deck we're going to be talking about. It came in 5th place. Waylay and Confiscates in the main deck. A full set of the DL44 blasters. You just can't go wrong with that when you're playing yellow. And when you have 26 ground units, that card is going to surprise some people. We got a couple Cunnings sitting in the sideboard. Jamming Communications is a great way of just kind of grabbing something on the cheap. I think it only costs 1 if I'm not mistaken. Great card, and the only thing that he can't take is a unit out of their hand, but he doesn't really care about that. Some salvages. Chaos of War showing up. Great card early on, especially if you're able to claim the initiative and make that happen, because I believe it does the extra damage if you have... equal to the cards in their hand. My bad, Chaos of War. So those decks that are really drawing deep, it's a good way of kind of like hitting them for anywhere from 5 to 7 points of damage sometimes out of nowhere. So really, really cool list there with the Cunnings being tossed in there, and I do love salvage a whole lot. So great showing from Ryan. We did get a match from Father Figure, who's Ryan. He is also one of our local judges in the area. And then Mitchell here with Han Solo Worth the Risk Data Vault. So he went with the Shadows Han Solo, but went with the Data Vault version of it, which you can see in this list that there is a ton of 3-ofs. I also like the fact that he only played 2 Wreckers, because I always felt like there was kind of a counter synergy when you're trying to get to Keller and Beck or even Crate Dragon to be playing cards like Wrecker, because you got to go down a resource to really get the full flavor out of the Wrecker. He does have the 3 timely interventions to kind of make sure that Wrecker and the Poe, one of his 2 Poe damage, the 5 cost 6/6, gets across the board right away. He also plays the Poe Dameron that is the pilot that can jump onto the 2/2 token that it makes. And then the Adelphi Patrol Wing. This list kind of takes a little bit of the flavor from the old Sabine Data Vault list in a way. All right, with the way that it does the Adel Patrol Wing fighters, or Patrol Wing. Rebellious Hammerhead. This is a beast, and we'll just do another way of, hey, you got too many, I've got cards in my hand, I'm going to knock out your units. Great card at a 6-drop. It's a 5/7 in space. It's really great there. I did not mean to back out of that quite yet. And then down here, Fell the Dragon. It's kind of like the same cost as a Rivals Fall, dealing with the big units. Bombing run to clear space, clear out a board when you got a little extra health than your opponent's units do. You can make some serious things happen there. A couple of Bright Hopes to do a little bit of card draw. And that kind of falls into the let's call it war. If you have the initiative, you get to do extra damage. 3 and 2. That can really work really well when you're dealing with these decks that go wide. Choose Sides being a great choice when you got things like Queen Amidala. You just hand them over a spy token and attack into it, especially after you have attacked with a spy token. It's a great card in the sideboard. So Mitchell, great job making it into 5th place. And then our second Darth Vader. This one was really interesting. Playing Tarkin Town. Full on red. Open fires. Stay on target. Trade route taxation to protect the Darth Vader. And then down here, we have some interesting choices. I mean, we got the droid missile platform doing the indirect damage when defeated. That's a really cool choice there. He did go with the Sanctioner shuttles. Von Reg's TIE Interceptor. Really cool. A main deck disabling Fang Fighter to try to, just have something that can deal with the first turn of Han Solo. Those open fires also taking out those Millennium Falcons pretty easily. The stay on target I love. You draw a card that's doing damage to a base, and it gets to attack right away. So just great little tech there. And then a couple more disabling Fang Fighters. And if you notice, this deck has the ability to kind of switch from your typical, like, I'm coming at you fast through the air, Darth Vader list, pilot list, and go a little more mid-rangey if it needs to get over the top with the Devastators and the Ruthless Raiders, Craving Powers, and Overwhelming Barrages. The Darth Vader unit itself that is a pilot, and when I spoke to the player, I'm going with Taserface for right now. Said he wished he had a third Senta Kaz, and felt like he was missing the Daring Raids. So if I'm going with 3 Kazes, and those are going to cost you 6, right? Then Sudden Ferocity starts to feel like a card that might come down in this list as he looks for places where he might drop in the Daring Raids. But I do love how he's got the Devastators and the Overwhelming Barrages, and he can kind of go into that mid-range kind of control aspect of the deck. The shuttle, being able to grab shield tokens, XP tokens, General's Blades, those kind of things. Really, really cool. And not a lot of things to put the General Blade on, but hey, let's face it, if I can just get anything extra from you, it's great. So awesome to see 2 Darth Vaders making up 25% of the top 8. We move on to Yoda Data Vault. It is the only data vault that made it into the top 8. And you see a pretty traditional list. It's got the 1 Yaddle, the 2 Kelleran Becks, your Village Protectors, a lot of 3-ofs from the Village Protectors, the Queen Amidala, Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's going to be your 3-drop unit. Mina Bontera, your Luke Skywalkers, the GNK Power Droid, always a great first turn play. They either remove it, allowing you to do your cycle, or you're going to get to cheat something in. Captain Typho to give you some Sentinel and a little bit more health gain. The Bo-Katans, those are dangerous. You get late in the game and you put out like a Queen Amidala out, and they just wipe the whole thing, put 3 tokens on it. So it can be very dangerous. Battlefield Marine, still showing itself to be one of the best cards for the 2-drop slot. Then you got your blue leader, your Phoenix Squadron A-Wing resupply carrier to help with that with the Yoda flip. Bright Hope, which is going to get you a little bit more card advantage. I like the 2 home ones because I found in my list that I was playing, which was a Rey list, and we're going to talk about the Rey list that was kind of based off of that one of our teammates created pretty much all by themselves. That a lot of times I had a home one in my hand, and I didn't have a great target in my discard pile. So being at the 2 is really great. Resupply, definitely, like I said, the most played card in the meta right now. I would not be surprised, if they just wait till rotation, but resupply it's gold. It is the gold standard right now. Yoda always going with the vanquishes over things like Fell the Dragon or Takedown. You're my only hope. A couple of confiscates to kind of help out with the Chewbacca's and other pesky upgrades. Rivals Falls. Spark of Hope. Now this deck doesn't play tech, which there's a nice little thing we'll talk about Spark of Hope and tech. A couple takedowns, the Eager Escort Fighters, a Hyperspace Disaster to kind of support that air defense or space arena. 2 Tranquilities. When played, you may return a Republic unit from your discard pile to your hand. So another way of getting a card back from your graveyard. And then each of the next 3 Republic cards you play this phase costs 1 less. So a really cool little thing there from the Yoda Lycanthrope 444. So did really well making the top 8. Congratulations. And then Han Solo Worth the Risk. This is the red Han Solo, but if you notice, instead of going with ECL, went with Colossus. And you're just going to see a bunch of 3 drops all the way down the list. The Fell the Dragons. And then you've got a little bit of space here. The Lutheran's Hallcraft, being able to make your opponent discard cards. That was something that a lot of players were doing, was attacking hands. And then you've got the Concordant Interceptors, Open Fire, Outer Rim Constables. There's your Pillages to get to that hand even more. And then Bombing Runs just to take care of whatever arena you're not having the best presence in. And a Bombing Run with the Bo-Katan, that can be a lot of tokens that you're going to be passing around, a lot of XP. So really, really cool sideboard tech over here with the way you put this together with the Colossus base. So that gives us our top 8. We did get the match between Father Figure and Mitchell, so Ryan and Mitchell, which was a quarterfinal match recorded. We'll bring that to you in another video because this one is just about talking about the results, because you cannot find these on the SWU Competitive Hub right now. Maybe by the time this airs, you will. Now, number 9, let's talk about Misguided. This is Riley, and Riley came up with a raid list, and it's really cool what Riley was able to pull off. Let's talk about this list a little bit. Going with the Admiral Akbar, just does a lot of work and does something that no other card in your list can do, which is direct damage. All right, Bo-Katans, Captain Typhos, Luke Skywalker's, Mina Monteri, Moisture Farmer, R2-D2. So you got your sorting and card draw. You've got the oh my goodness, I'm forgetting the word. The Restore effect, really in high demand. 3 techs, and we're going to talk about Spark of Hope and tech. You throw out tech on like your 5 resource turn. You're baiting them to kill it and waste one of their kill spells. And then you Spark of Hope it back into your resource pile. Great thing that was brought up in one of the masterclass videos that Riley had reviewed and shared with me, and because I made a raid deck based off of this as well. And then he went with Anakin Skywalker and Cargo Juggernaut. If you notice, there's a lot of blue units. There's Lobot, there's Populous Advisor. Then you've got your Village Protectors that are kind of beefy and stick around. Moisture Farmers in here. A lot of Luke Skywalker. Just a lot of opportunities to get that 4 life from that Juggernaut. And it's on the 6 drop. So it gets you that life right when you need it before you can get out Yoda. Great stuff. So great list there. We got the Resupply, Fell the Dragon, Hyperspace Disaster, because one of the things, if you notice, there's only 9 space units. So it's a little bit susceptible to space aggro. But the Hyperspace Disasters in the main deck, those worked beautifully for me all day long. A pair of Rivals Falls and that Spark of Hope we talked about, and a couple of Entrenches that help out with that early Han Solo Chewbacca combo. Then backing that up with some Confiscates, some Queen Amidala's that come out against control matchups, just forcing them into a situation where 1 card's producing 3 bodies, and they're going to have to do a board wipe or they're going to take some damage. Takedowns, just because you do have things like Sentinels that are going to bring the life, that HP down on units, and even the leaders, the takedown can knock them out. Entrenched, another great way of just stopping the space units. Another Fell the Dragon. If you notice, there's a lot of 1-ofs down here that allow Riley to kind of tweak the deck exactly the way Riley needs it for the opponent. And then restock. Restock's a great way to get your techs back into the deck and bring in the other things like the, let's see, what is it? The home ones to then bring in another card from your discard pile. So great list here. Riley did very well because let's take a look at his path. He went against Mitchell, that was in the top 8. He did lose to Mitchell. He was able to take down a Sabine. He was able to take a Sabe. He did lose to Cad Bane. Then he went up against Han Solo and won. And then William Hannons, who is proven himself to be an excellent player with multiple top 8s. Misguider was able to take the win there, and it got him right on the bubble, ended up with 9th place. So the number 9 trophy goes to Riley from the Indigo Squadron with OTPG. Great showing there. And then another one I want to bring up, someone who picked up this deck like 4 days before the tournament, Han Solo, Worth the Risk. And the reason I want to bring this list up is it is a very typical ECL Han Solo Worth the Risk. All right, you can get a couple of Chams, the Wrecker, the Guerrilla Attack Pod. Notice it did not go for a main deck, Keller and Beck. Again, that kind of anti-synergy with Wrecker at play there. Full set of Queen Amidala's, the Poe Dameron, quick to improvise. Let's see, the Poe Dameron, one hell of a pilot. A couple of timely reinforcements, some bounty hunter quarries to get a hold of those disabling Fang fighters, to be able to take care of some of those pesky upgrades. And then the Heroic Arc 170 alongside a Red 5. Another great combination. And do not underestimate the power of that Sabine's Masterpiece, especially if they timely intervention it in. Then the Corellian Hounds. This is really there if you're either playing a space deck or you're playing a super hard control deck that just does not put units down. Because they come in ready. They're a 5/5 if your opponent doesn't have a ground unit. So they are really strong there. But might not stay in the list. Let's call it war. That is, again, a way of just kind of taking that advantage of grabbing initiative and knocking out 2 units or doing just enough damage to bring it down to where it's manageable. A home one, an extra just a bunch of 1-drops in here. Again, to have the ability to kind of tweak the deck a little bit here and there to make it perfect against whatever opponent you're working with. All right, so great stuff by Jeff, coming in the top 16, representing yet another spot by the Indigo Squadron. And then I'm going to give a shout out to William Hannons, coming in 20th place. Really just one away from making it there. Actually, there's one other thing I wanted to point out with Jeff's list. And remember, Jeff just picked this up like 4 days before this event. But look at his tournament path. Flippity floppity. He took Han Solo ECL against Emperor Palpatine's Colossus to a draw. That's pretty strong. The first place in the winner of the tournament, who now has 100 points and an invitation to the Galactics, he was able to draw with. I really got to give it up to him on that. And then what really knocked him out, father figure, put him down in the 3rd game, and that was just kind of the end of it. But he had a great run. Winning 2 out of the 3 first round matches, and then grabbing another one here. And if he just got that last win, there is a possibility he would have possibly. Let's see, that'd have been 7 points there, 8, 9, 10, 13 points, and the cutoff was looks like 14. So he probably would have knocked Raleigh down, won in the 9th place. But nonetheless, great showing of both of you guys. Also, Musta coming in the top half did very well with a 3-3. That's, you can't be upset about splitting your matches 50%. Using the Yoda Data Vault. Very, very good list there. Going with the one lone bot, that's very interesting, and the one power droid. They are weak units, and they die pretty easily, but that's kind of the point a little bit. But going with the resupply carriers, the full 3 of, I think is a great idea. The confiscates in the main deck, really making things happen. But also including the takedowns in the main deck as well, with the hyperspace disasters in the sideboard. I believe this Obi-Wan is, from the set 1 Obi-Wan. I actually preferred that myself for my list. There were plenty of Tarkin Town decks. Like I pointed out, one of the top 8 Darth Vaders was a Tarkin Town deck itself, just trying to next level the meta as Young Han or Red Han or Shadows of the Galaxy Han was on the rise, in a way of kind of countering his ability to cheat things out fast and go wide on you, is to use that Tarkin Town to end that unit if possible. So really cool stuff there. Also a shout out to another one of our team members. Had a little bit of a rough day on the tables. As you can see here, Doug McMiles, he didn't do so hot at the tables, but Lady Fortune was a friend to him, because the raffles that they did, and then you can see me here in 29th place. I 2-2-2'd. Started off with 2 draws in round 1 and 2. It was rough. Stayed in the grindy matchups. But Doug ended up winning a Showcase Mother Towson off the raffles, and then a box of Legends of the Force. So we're going to do a box opening of that box to see if there's any cool little showcases chilling in there. But with that said, I just wanted to kind of bring you the wrap up of what happened this weekend, Sunday. Right now it's about 2:15 a.m. So obviously I'm still jacked up from the whole day of just playing Star Wars. But the big takeaway is never underestimate the power of the dark side, because we thought we had a heroic green issue, and it turns out you can actually do it with villainy. And Vader is not knocked out. So once again, the South kind of showing back when Ray Tarkentown popped up at the Greenville Planetary Qualifier when Red Han came out, and Ray Tarkentown took out the Shadows of the Galaxy Han Solos. Here we've got 2 villainy decks that really came out of nowhere and just took it to the end. It was really great. Everybody had a great time. There was just so many great things to do while we were there playing board games and that kind of stuff. And thank you again, Myrtle Beach Games and Anthony, for allowing us to get recording in before we had to head out of town. And we will be bringing you that, like I said, in another video. And we'll be doing a roundtable talk, hopefully, in the near future. So, with that said, this is Jason with OTPG on the Play Games. Make sure you check the links down in the description. You'll see one to our Discord to join. And you'll also see a link to this set of information. I hope that you can see it if you weren't in the actual event, but there will be a link to the Myrtle Beach Planetary Qualifier I'm going to put in there, just to make sure, or at least attempt to let you be able to look over the information and see what happened on our Planetary Qualifier here in the coastal region of the Grand Strand of the great state of South Carolina. With that said, wherever you are, day or night, have a great one. Bye now.